So my Tennessee Volunteers are the biggest story in sports today, and it is not for a good reason. So anybody that knows me, you know I graduated from the University of Tennessee. I always tell the story. I'm from Memphis. Memphis raised me. I always give the University of Tennessee / college the credit of making me into the young man and then now the man that I am today. So University of Tennessee has a big place in my heart. I actually went back to Knoxville a couple times just last football season to enjoy my Vols that were in playoff contention most of the year, made the playoffs, and then lost to Ohio State in huge fashion. So that gets me to this big-time story out of college football today. So the Tennessee Volunteers are calling it quits on Nico Iamaleava. For those who are unfamiliar, this is a music-based platform. To sum up a very, very, very long story very briefly, Nico was a essentially five-star recruit that Tennessee brought in a couple years back. We redshirted him the first year. Nico played all of last year. His first year starting at quarterback. He came in after Joe Milton, who actually just got traded from the Patriots to my Dallas Cowboys, right? Whatever. This dude had a lot of hype, expectations. Very big kid. Was he 6'3", 6'4"? Muscular kid. His dad's a big guy, and his dad's going to play into this story here in a second. Huge arm. Look, handsome young man. He's Hawaiian. Like, he's got it going on, man. This dude is a lot of things that work well for him as a brand. There's a reason why I'm telling you that the young man is handsome. It all makes sense in a second here. So Nico had an okay year last year. His first year playing at the collegiate level. He had an okay year. The Vols, again, made the playoff. I thought in spite of Nico a lot of times, and in spite of Coach Whipple. So Dylan Sampson, we had a really great running back that set SEC records. He set a Tennessee rushing record last year for touchdowns. We had a really good running back that carried a lot of our offensive load that made life easier for Nico. Dylan's actually going to the draft. So it will be on Nico a lot coming into the 2025 season. So as the story has been told to me, and again, I don't have as many people on the ground in Knoxville as I used to. I did reach out to a couple people that I know. One of my friends was asking me about the story that lives in Knoxville, right? So as the story breaks down to me, Nico has been shopping his value behind the scenes. And for those who know college football, Oregon's coach Dan Lanning apparently let Tennessee know that Nico had reached out to Oregon. Nico's a West Coast kid, about potentially seeing how much would they pay. Now, best of my knowledge is right now, we're in the NIL era. Nico was making about $2 million per year from Tennessee. I had always heard the stories that Nico got around $7 to $8 million to play college ball at Tennessee. Keep in mind, his redshirt freshman year, he doesn't play at all, obviously. So last year, as a redshirt sophomore, was his first year playing. Nico's expectation is to play one more year and most likely go to the NFL draft spring of 2026. So Tennessee would have essentially paid $8 million for a quarterback that would have given them 2 years of work. And the first year, which was the 2024 football season, Nico wasn't that great. Had some good moments, but overall wasn't that great. So you gave this young man $8 million. So story goes, Nico no-shows practices on Friday. Now, I'm not in Knox anymore. So word gets to me, I'm looking on Twitter, I'm like, okay, and the man no-shows one practice. It's not life or death. I'm also, again, familiar with the Knoxville area. I know how much they give a damn about football. It's everything down there, y'all. If you are not in the SEC in one of these cities like Athens, Georgia, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Knoxville, Tennessee, where there are not a lot of things going on outside of the collegiate sports scene, you won't understand what I'm saying. But in these cities, sports at the collegiate level are everything, especially college football. Even for Tennessee, which we ain't won in a little minute. But we were getting there. And we thought we had a great chance with Nico next year. So Nico no-shows practices. And the word gets around, reporters start picking up, beat writers start picking it up, like, yo, Nico went in practice. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, and it's just one practice. We're in the middle of April. But then things started to connect with me. Again, I'm 31. I'm 7-8 years removed from the scene now. Orange and white game. That's a spring practice, the scrimmage that most colleges do to kind of tease the fan base of what's coming in the fall, how you sell a lot of season tickets in the summer by that orange and white game. Tease the fans about what you got coming in next year. Although a lot of players don't even come into the summer. It's weird, but that's what it used to be for college football as a tease to the next year for the fan base. So that's Saturday. And I'm like, oh, okay. When I realized that is odd for a player to no-show the practice and meetings before the orange and white game. And clearly whatever Nico had did to that team, clearly the team knew something was weird, right? So I don't know what their standard protocol is day by day. I don't know how connected Nico had been to the team. I don't know if the group message was popping recently. Clearly Nico did something to where those young men and that coaching staff knew something was different about Nico's movements. Obviously, we know deadlines are approaching, jump in the spring portal. Apparently, he's going to do it next week. So Nico's not at practice, not at the meetings, and word's getting around that this dude is shopping himself and is essentially, I guess, I look at it as holding out if you're not practicing or in meetings. A lot of people are calling it, quote unquote, holding his services in. So Nico does not come to the meetings, the practices, and word gets around, and by 2-3 p.m. Knoxville time, that thing is hot. That story is hot. And the fan base is going crazy. And it's the same fan base that, by the way, kind of built this monster. And Nico, we built that brand up, that sweat equity in that brand, which his brand is a lot bigger than what he's actually produced on the field. So Vol fan, I love y'all. Vol fans, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know y'all my crew, but kind of got to take a little bit of that accountability on our own. We built this dude up. And now he feels as though the iron is hot to strike. Here's where I get uncomfortable. For those who don't know, I don't on Twitter/X mention athletes by name. The reason why I don't do it is because I'm 31. Like I said to you guys previously, it just gets weird. What am I going to be, a 40-year-old grown man screaming at 21-year-old kids? And pass the ball. I will admit this to you, though. What Nico just did is professional-esque, right? He held his services. That's what professional athletes do for more money. I'm not even mad at the young man, but I can talk about this one to me because it's a professional move. And if this is where collegiate sports are going, I'm going to start holding these kids accountable like grown men, right? Even if they're 18, 19, because clearly there are grown people in their circles, like Nico's dad, I know, that are giving these young men advice, young women advice on where to go and play ball next. That was a big boy move. So Nico says he wants more money. The reports are he wanted about $1.5 million, $2 million more. So that would get that number up to $4 million. Now, keep in mind, I don't know the games Nico and his team are playing, but there is a world where Nico could leave and go to the NFL after this year. There are no contractual obligations in these NIL deals, which makes NCAA a complete dumpster fire mess right now. So Nico could jump to the NFL. If I'm the Tennessee Vols, I already gave you $8 million. If you don't know, there was a fight with the NCAA for his eligibility to at least get him on the field last year, right, to make him eligible. So you want me to give you another $2-3 million to make that number up to maybe $10-11 million? What we've given you, and you may not play your senior season? You may forego it to go to the NFL draft? Wait a minute, sir. Now let me do the numbers in my head. So we redshirted you your first year because you were not ready to play for or play ahead of Joe Milton, which I'll talk about that in a second. I disagree with Heupel on that decision. Okay, so you redshirted. So we got you last year. You were okay at best. Had a couple good games, but okay at best. You would have played your junior year with all the expectations in the world. Tennessee would not have been a favorite to win a championship, even with Nico. We would be one of probably 12 to 16 teams that could, but there will be no world where we be the favorite. And then you will most likely forego your senior season. So that's about $5.5 million for 2 years of services. That's the way I look at it. And to me, that's not enough. So a lot of people right now are commending Tennessee, who clearly got in front of this story. You see the reports from On3 and other outlets. Tennessee clearly got in front of this story and let it be known, hey, we're putting our rock in the sand. We're putting our knife, our fork, our stick in the sand here. We're not giving this young man no more money. Maybe they were willing to negotiate, but apparently what he wants is too high for their liking. I'm a little frustrated with Coach Whipple, who I've absolutely did nothing but love since he's become the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, because I felt like Nico should have got on the field 2024 season as a clear freshman, right? As a straight, real freshman. Reason why I said that is because I knew this day could happen. Nico has kind of been one of the leaders in the charge in the NIL wave, and I knew this day could happen. I wanted Whipple to get out there and let Nico get on that field and work out those kinks so we don't have to go to Arkansas in the 2024 season and lose that game, right? We lost. I wanted Nico on the field, in 2023. So last season, we don't lose to Arkansas, right? I don't think we were going to beat that Ohio State team in the playoff either way it goes. But under my guidelines, we don't lose to Arkansas. We're not playing Ohio State in the freaking first round of the playoffs. We may be on a bye, bare minimum a 5 or 6 spot, right? So I'm frustrated with Whipple for not putting Nico on the field his freshman year, because Nico and Whipple were not on the same page last year. I heard they got a good relationship off the field, but Whipple did not trust Nico. Again, to mention Joe Milton, who again now is a Dallas Cowboy, there were things I saw Whipple let Milton do in his last season, 2023, that he never gave Nico an opportunity to do in the offense. And I'm going to trust Whipple to be a very smart man, and I'm assuming it to be he didn't believe his guy could make those plays. Now, I'm frustrated at that. I also thought Tennessee's receiving core was lackluster last year. Nobody talks about that. I thought that was a pretty bad receiving core. I thought that was probably one of the worst in the SEC last year. And I still stand by that. And I don't know why Tennessee's not getting it right at receiver year in and year out. It seems like to be one of the more easier positions to get right in the SEC. Obviously, we had a great year. Hendon's year, we had Jalen Hyatt. We had talent all over the field. But since that moment, the receiving core has been lackluster to me, and I stand by that. So I'm not even blaming Nico. What if Nico and his family got a taste of SEC football last year and realized, hey, we're not even that, this is a lot. This game is very fast, and I'm not good enough to play at this level. I don't think I'll be great enough to play at an elite level on Sundays. What if he feels that way, and Nico and his family are like, yo, the time to strike right now is at the collegiate level. You can't blame this young man for this all the way. Was it handled appropriately? Probably not, but we can't blame this young man for maximizing his value. What if he doesn't believe he's going to be an NFL player that's going to play on Sundays for the next 10 years? I didn't see that young man play that way on Saturdays to know for a fact he'll play on Sundays. His popularity and his name is out there. You hear the Heisman pre-list that has him on it. I didn't see a Heisman type of dude last year, not even close. So maybe this young man thinks with no rules and litigation by the NCAA, this is my moment to get as much money as I can, because this is my family's generational wealth if there's ever going to be some, right? This is the money that leads to investments, that leads to our generational wealth. So I'm not going to kill the young man. Blame the NCAA. Nico's getting all the blame right now. All the headlines, all the Vol fans are talking, all you 40-year-old dudes that are clowning this kid. It wasn't handled the greatest. Blame his parents if you want to. Blame his representation if you want to. But don't blame the kid. Don't blame the kid, because the kid was a part of a mess of a system. He's just one of the smarter kids that's doing all he can to maximize his worth. What I tell people about collegiate sports, especially men's football and basketball, the coaches made this mess, and the NCAA has failed to clean it up. The coaches' greed started all this mess. Coaches were lying to these kids, walking into people's kids, walking into people's houses, lying to these babies, and telling these parents what they were going to do for them. And it wasn't the fact that they didn't see it through, right? If the kid didn't play the way you wanted him to, that's just life. But lying to a kid, telling them you got plans on being there 3-4 years, knowing darn well some of these contracts and some of these business deals that these coaches are leaving after the season to go be a part of, they don't just manifest overnight. There's big money on the table with some of these deals and some of these situations that these coaches are leaving programs to go pursue. It's their life. Salute to them. But that's what started this mess. These coaches were greedy first, and these kids now, with no system, no rules, no litigation, they're following behind these coaches. That's what's going on in college football right now. That's exactly what happened. And that's why this mess happened with Nico today. And all of college football, y'all may not have no invested interest in my Tennessee Vols, but I promise you, you're going to be dealing with this. Your fandom is going to feel the same way sooner rather than later, because Nico's just one of the first to really test it. Him and his family really tested the Tennessee Vols bank account. They really tested it while he was there. And the Vols finally said enough is enough. And I support that decision outside looking in, right? Probably going to mean we're going to be very bad next year. George McIntyre, I don't know if that's the answer. We're going to have to deal with losing Dylan Sampson. Not to mention James Pierce was a big deal on our defense, and we lost others. It's going to be pretty tough for my Vols next year. It may be a wash year next year. We'll see what people can do. Hell, maybe we get in the transfer portal and go figure something out on the fly. It's probably going to be a rough year because there's just too many positions that are important in SEC football that we will be either playing somebody who's relatively new or have not even ever played it down for Tennessee, let alone SEC doing that, right? So it's going to be tough. This is what happened. That's my understanding of the scenario. It sucks. Nico was by far the most popular athlete at Tennessee since my friend Josh Dobbs was there. I'm gonna actually hit Josh about this and get his input and opinion on it. It sucks. It's disappointing. But again, just don't blame the young man. This is what college football is going to become. This is the mess that NCAA has created. And I hate it had to happen to my university, but hopefully stuff like this invokes change. Because if I were 18, 19 with $2 million in my bank account and I am now the savior to my family, I would have went off the deep end. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I was broke in college. So for me, we were just happy with $400 for a semester. But I totally understand how this mess could get worse. There's no structure, no rules, and I'm gonna tell the truth about it. If nobody else will, there are a lot of, when I talk about the coach's greed, because I'm very passionate about this. When I talk about the coach's greed that started this mess, let's just be frank about it. All right, college football is becoming a much more diverse sport where the young black man is really starting to become the most prized possession at quarterback, not only with their scrambling ability, but their arm strength and their ability to now stay in that pocket and be a precision pocket quarterback. Look at Shedeur Sanders. He's not finna race you down the field, right? Cam Ward has some athleticism, but he's in the pocket a lot of the time. He's scrambling around, but staying within the guidelines of throwing the football instead of trying to beat you with his legs. Everybody's not going to be Lamar Jackson. Look at what Jaden Daniels did last year. These young men are sought after, but a lot of these young men are first-generation curse breakers, all right? These are dudes that are making money. These dudes' families don't come from this type of experience. When the coaches were being greedy, which is why I feel like it's so nasty, a lot of these were 45, 50-year-old white men, all right, that were a part of this greed. And I'm not trying to make it a race thing, but we got to tell it. We got to talk in truths. I just got to be honest about this. Some of these men come from coaching lineages that just were not prevalent in the African-American community from a black coach perspective, right? It's not there. A lot of these coaches that were lying were seasoned white men, and it just looks really bad. It was really bad. It's really bad, right? And the fact that they knew better and didn't do better, now y'all want to blame the kids? Yeah. It's a mess. It is a mess right now, and it's the second worst news story Tennessee got this month. Actually, our last coach is actually suing us for like $100 million or something like that. He's suing the NCAA. I'm tired, man. I don't want to talk about this no more. I'm frustrated and completely disappointed how this played out, and I hate that the kid is getting the bad end of the stick because most likely this is everything but his decision. From what I hear, I did hear this much. I don't think Nico and his family ever 1,000% bought in to Knoxville, Tennessee, like a Josh Dobbs did. Josh is all the way invested. Josh still goes and does events every year in Knoxville. He's 1,000% bought in completely, right? Or Alvin Kamara, I think, still comes back. And a lot of other athletes in between still come back and they're a part of the university. I don't think Nico was ever gonna come back. I don't think this is in his blood like that, right? I don't think he bled orange, and maybe that was a big part of it. I think he's gonna struggle to get that money though. We'll see. I guess essentially with a new university doing it, it's not like they're paying him $4 million a year. It appears as though he'll be good with the $2 million extra Because I don't even know how that works. Like, does he still get the full $8 million from Tennessee that he allegedly got out the gate? Like, how does that work? There's no contractual obligation. Like, how much of that money has he already got? Like, this is just weird. And this is professional sports. This is not amateurism. It's professional sports. And we probably need to start covering it like that and calling it what it is. Time, love, and support. Go Vols. All right, I'm out.